Back in the 90s, there was real heat between Macho Man Randy Savage and Road Warrior Hawk. These two wrestling giants would get into it on two separate occasions, once at a New Japan show and another time in the VIP bathroom of a Kid Rock concert. This would lead to a costly battle in court and Hawk's wife suffering permanent damage as a result of their second altercation. This is the story of Randy Savage and Road Warrior Hawk and their real-life fights. In 1996, at a New Japan show, Randy Savage was set to have a match and was on his way to the ring when he got ambushed by Hawk backstage. It all started over suspicion of a wandering eye. According to Randy's brother Lanny Poffo, Hawk had a mistaken notion that my brother had made a pass at his wife. Now I know my brother, and I met his wife, and I may say, not true. It couldn't possibly, because my brother, for all good things about him, is like Shallow Hal, just like me, and beauty is a high premium. And, this woman was well below his standards. Lanny went on to add, my brother doesn't go making passes at people's wives. Even if she were beautiful or to die for, he wouldn't do that because he was a gentleman. When asked about the incident in Japan, Hawk replied, Randy got the living kicked out of him. Simple slap knocked him over. Hawk would claim that he beat up Savage. However, former WCW manager Sonny Ono, who was there when the incident took place in Japan, claims otherwise. In an interview with Hannibal TV, Ono shares, they had Randy Savage's music playing. He was one of the main event guys, you know. It might have been in the main event match. And in Back of the Curtain, Randy Savage and Hawk were going at it. I mean, they were going at it. They were face to face about to go, and the music hits, and he's not going out. At about 135 pounds, Ono had to step in between the two giants in an attempt to quell the possibility of a fight breaking out. All the while, Randy's music was playing, and the crowd was waiting anxiously for him to walk through the curtain. Savage eventually went out to the ring and wrestled. When the match was over, Savage returned to the backstage area and went straight towards Hawk. But before things could escalate further, they were both separated. Lanny would go on to give his brother's side of the events that took place. What happened was he was on his way to the ring in Japan, and they have those chutes you come out of, and Hawk was just joking with him moments before. Then Randy assumed his place before Hawk ambushed him on the way to the ring. Lanny continued, Randy, being the professional that he was, took the punch and kept walking to the ring because he had a job to do. He did his job, and when he came back, he went there to attack Hawk before the boys split them apart. Randy never forgot anything, admits former WWE manager Zeb Coulter, aka Dutch Mantel. It's well known amongst those who knew Randy Savage that he was not one to forgive or forget easily. This would manifest itself when Savage and Hawk crossed paths again several years later at a Kid Rock concert in Tampa. We'll preface this by saying that there have been different versions of the second encounter. According to Hawk, he knew Randy was going to be at the event, so he told security ahead of time that he had a problem with them and to be on the lookout in case things kicked off. When the two eventually bumped into one another, Hawk claimed he went over to shake Savage's hand, but Randy pushed his hand away and punched Hawk in the face. Lanny gave further background into the second altercation. So you might say Hawk won the first altercation with the sucker punch. Hawk won, Randy nothing. Then they met again in Tampa. Randy saw him and attacked Hawk. This time it was 1-1, okay? But then Hawk litigated. Now since a plaintiff, Hawk, is deceased, I believe it's out of court. What happened after the punch was unclear. Hawk claimed that after he was sucker punched, he steered Savage up against a wall, and eventually security broke it up and the police arrived. However, Stephanie Bellers, aka Gorgeous George, former girlfriend and valet of Randy Savage, tells a different story. When she was asked about the incident, she shared, all I know is Randy wanted to use the bathroom, and we were there with my sister and a girlfriend of mine. When we walked into the bathroom, we didn't even know Hawk and his wife were there. Gorgeous George admits she didn't recognize Hawk without his face makeup on, and that Savage and Hawk just went straight into a fight. She continues, they had urinals ripping off the walls, doors, oh lord, it was like two monsters fighting. According to Gorgeous George, 15 security guards were standing around, but they didn't stop the fight. Gorgeous George also admits she got involved by whipping pop cans at Hawk's head during the struggle. This led to Hawk's wife and Gorgeous George going at it too. Hawk's wife got into my sister's face and was pushing my sister. My sister's younger than me, so you ain't doing that. We got into a fight. So you got two huge men fighting, us fighting, and nobody stopping it. As a result of the scuffle in the bathroom, Hawk claimed that his wife sustained a serious injury and she hears bells all the time. He went on to call Gorgeous George a trailer park piece of crap and a wigger. He also stated that Gorgeous George and her sister attacked his wife for no reason and that he sued Savage over what happened to his wife. A few years after the incident, Gorgeous George spontaneously bumped into Hawk on an elevator. After the whole thing was done, I actually went to XWF. We were in Orlando, and I didn't even notice it, but I was in the elevator going like 15 floors up with Hawk. She admits to being incredibly nervous when it dawned on her who she was sharing the elevator with, but took the high road by turning to him to apologize for hurting his wife. Hawk thought it was cool that she said that. After that, they went down to the hotel bar, got faced and made up. Randy, on the other hand, never forgave Hawk for what happened. When asked to give his opinion on Hawk, he responded, "Oh yeah, me and him don't get along at all. Anytime two guys mix it up and it ends up in court, one wrestler suing another, that's ridiculous." Randy Savage spent a great deal of money fighting the case, but with Hawk passing away in 2003, the lawsuit was thrown out.
Oh yeah!